This is the Doug Gottlieb Show on Fox Sports Radio. I saw this thing, and I thought it was really interesting. Clarence Hill, he writes for the All City, DLLS. He covers the Dallas Cowboys, has done so for years. You know, for the extent of my time working in national radio for over 20 years, I believe Clarence has covered the Cowboys. He says the Cowboys are closing in on a deal to make offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer their new head coach. Hill said the sides are, quote, expected to cross the finish line today or no later than Friday. Again, this is from the report. Schottenheimer fits everything that owner Jerry Jones covets in his head coaches. He will be inexpensive relative to other head coaches in the league, as Schottenheimer has no other interviews. Jones, who doubles as general manager, maintains control and continues to be the face of the team, and it's someone who, with Jones, is familiar. This is really interesting. I know everybody wants to say this shows the downfall of the Dallas Cowboys, and you may be right. You may be right. But continuity is a gigantic piece when you think you're close. When you think you're close. Now, my guess is that it's not a guess. The reality is that you think, okay, the best chance for Jerry Jones to be successful with the Cowboys this year is not throwing a new offense, a new scheme, new verbiage at Dak Prescott. They believe the offense was working. The defense wasn't working. And they had a bunch of injuries. But this doesn't tell you anything other than, or what tells me is they didn't think Mike McCarthy would leave. Right? They thought they'd get Mike McCarthy short-term deal, kind of a prove-it sort of contract, and that they're really happy with how the offense went, and they can figure out, do we keep Zimmer on the defense? Do we change the defensive coordinator? What does that all look like? The weird part about it is how many times had people been critical of Jerry Jones because you think Jerry Jones wants to make the splashy hire. This is not a splashy hire. Was Marty a great coach? He was. And I remember Marty Schottenheimer, his dad, was head coach of the Chiefs when they were awesome but stunk in the playoffs. The Chargers, when they were awesome, stunk in the playoffs. The Browns, when they were awesome. And the drive, the fumble, that was all Marty Schottenheimer. So he comes from good stock, but not seen around the league as a great head coaching candidate. On the other hand, how many of these guys, it's really weird. It's really weird. Like Ben Johnson is a young, hot candidate because he's a fantastic offensive coordinator. Right? We have no idea if Ben Johnson can be a head coach. It's a different job. It's a different thing. I mean, like I'm learning, there's so many other things that go with being a head coach, even in basketball, college basketball. I can't imagine in the National Football League, although it still is about football. It's weird. The Cowboys' offense has generally been really, really good. And you can give credit to Mike McCarthy as he's an offensive guy, but Schottenheimer was their offensive coordinator. And how many of these other offensive coordinators are getting jobs? Why shouldn't Schottenheimer be considered? Yes, there were times in the past with some of his previous jobs where their offense was wildly underwhelming. But this to me is, some of it's Jerry wanting to maintain control, but a lot of it is Jerry going like, wait, Dak likes this offense. Offense works for him. Offense isn't the reason that we were getting beat. Injuries and defensive dysfunction was. Let's just get a big-time defensive coordinator and fix our roster. It doesn't mean that Jerry wants to have ultimate control over coaching. May. And that's where he becomes like Al Davis. But I honestly believe that it would have to be the whole plan. Hey, this is what I'm doing on offense. This is who I'm going to hire or what I'm going to do with the defense. This is who's going to do special teams. And this is how we're going to do it. I get it. I get it. Because there have been stops where Brian Schottenheimer's offenses have underwhelmed. We all think it's Mike McCarthy's offense, Brian Schottenheimer, more quarterback coach along for the ride, and why would he be getting the Cowboys job when he can't get any of the other jobs? But the things that we're critical of Jerry Jones about is the splashy hires and the splashy acquisitions, and this is not splash. this is, and they may be misjudging it based upon what they think is substantive. So do I love it at first glance? I don't. I would have loved Bill Belichick, but I would guess Bill Belichick's not going. Right? If you can't hire somebody who's won a Super Bowl, won in the playoffs, and the rest of the league's going to offensive guys, and your offense has been good, and you like your offense, why do you have to change your offense? You don't. You don't.